Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Okay, my name is Ulfa Elfian Tiakoly. I'm here to explain about my summary about the article that I chose. Okay, the first one is the session of introduction. The introduction explain that I'm sorry. The topic of the article I choose is evaluating methodological features of research on translaguaging pedagogy in English medium education or EMI. The first one is introduction. The introduction explains that many universities in non-English speaking countries are now using English medium instruction or EMI. Teaching courses in English, however, problems arise because many students are not proficient enough in English. The second one is teachers struggle to teach with English only rules. The third and the last is universities provide inadequate EMI training. This is why the translaguaging approach emerged, which is the use of all the language students have to help them learn. Mixing Indonesian English or using various models, writing, image, videos, etc. Research on translaguaging is increasing, but there is no specific study on the research methods used. Hence, this article aims to fill the gap. Next is the purpose or research purpose. The main objectives of the article are: the first one is to evaluate the methodology used in research on translaguaging pedagogy in EMI classrooms. The second one is to identify patterns, trends, and weaknesses of these studies. The third is to provide recommendations for future translaguaging research. The fourth is main research question. What are the methodological characteristics of translaguaging pedagogy research in EMI context? Okay, move to the next discussion. Literature review. The literature review discusses several key points. The first one is concept of translaguaging. In concept translaguaging, there are students are allowed to use all the language they master to understand lessons. The second one is teacher can plan translaguaging, plan strategies, or it can emerge spontaneously, or unplanned strategies. The third is translaguaging is considered a pedagogy of hope because it makes the classroom more fair, human, and supportive of learning. The kind of literature review is the second is translaguaging in EMI. Many previous EMI studies looked at teacher or student attitudes, translaguaging strategies, and EMI challenges. The second one is but no study has specially examined research method. The third kind of the literature review is need for methodological study. Previous researchers, according to Lee 2022, state that translaguaging studies need methodological evaluation because the approach is complex, the context is diverse, and strong methodological foundation are needed for future research. Okay, next to the method. This research used a qualitative meta-synthesis approach, a method for systematically combining findings from various qualitative studies. Researchers conduct a search for article in two major databases. Web of Science and Scopus using keywords led to EMI and translaguaging. From an initial search of 162 articles, researchers filtered based on year, language, publication type, topic relevancy, and focused on empirical studies. The final results yielded 10 articles most relevant for analysis. The filtering process is depicted in Fig 1, which shows how the number of articles narrowed down from 162 to just 10 articles. Subsequently, the authors used thematic analysis to extract emerging methodological patterns in these studies. Okay, next to the results or findings. The results of the study reveals three main findings. First, in terms of research context, the majority of studies originate from Asia, particularly China and Bangladesh. Fig 2 shows that 40% of the studies originate from mainland China, indicating a lack of geographic diversity in translaguaging research in EMI. Most studies were also conducted at the university level, as shown in Fig 3, while research in primary and secondary schools remains very limited. Second, the most frequently emerging research themes include the implementation of translaguaging in the classroom, teacher and students' perceptions, knowledge equality, and influence of translaguaging on learning interaction. Third, in terms of methodology, almost all studies use a qualitative approach with data such as interviews, classroom observation, student artifacts, and surveys. Data analysis was dominated by thematic analysis, and most studies involved small samples, primarily of 1 to 8 teachers. Okay, next to the discussion. In the discussion section, translaguaging research has provided in-depth insight into classroom practices, but there are still some methodological weaknesses that need to be addressed. One of them is the lack of a methodological framework specially designed to study translaguaging in EMI context. Additionally, most research focuses more on teachers' perspectives than on students' experience their active roles. The lack of quantitative and mixed methods research also means the relationship between translaguaging and learning outcomes is not yet measurable. Other limitations include small research samples and narrow research contexts. Therefore, further research needs to expand methodologies, include more country contexts, involve more participants, conduct longitudinal studies, and examine how translaguaging affects students' academic achievements. Next, the conclusion. In conclusion, this article shows that research on translaguaging pedagogy in EMI is still dominated by qualitative approaches and conducted in limited context and educational levels. Nevertheless, these studies have provided important insight into how translaguaging helps the learning process in EMI classrooms. The authors emphasize the need to increase methodological diversity, particularly by promoting quantitative research, mixed methods, and comparative studies across countries. There is also a need for more research focused on student experiences and the relationship between translaguaging and learning outcomes. By strengthening methodological aspects in translaguaging research, it is hoped that the development of EMI in the future can become more effective, inclusive, and in line with the needs of various educational contexts. Okay, maybe that's all from me. Thank you very much, and I hope you can enjoy my video. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dadah.